I was hired to watch a man sleep. He never moved. I thought the job was a joke when I first read the email. No company logo, no phone number. Just a subject line that said, "Overnight observation needed. Discretion required." The body of the message was short. They needed someone to sit in a room from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. My only task was to observe a man while he slept. No touching, no waking him, no leaving early. The pay was obscene. 4 figures. Cash. One night. At the bottom of the email, there was a single sentence that stuck with me longer than it should have. "You are not there to help him." I should have deleted it. Instead, I replied. The address led me to the edge of the city, past the streetlights, past the neighborhoods that still felt alive at night. The building was an old medical complex, the kind that had been abandoned and reused so many times, it no longer had an identity. A man in a gray suit met me at the door. He didn't introduce himself. He checked my phone, wallet, and watch, placed them in a lockbox, then handed me a clipboard. On it was a single rule sheet. Do not touch the subject. Do not attempt to wake the subject. Do not look away for extended periods of time. If you feel the urge to leave, ignore it. If the subject opens his eyes, mark the time. Do not react. I laughed at that last one. The man didn't. The room was small, white walls, no windows. A single bed bolted to the floor. The man lay on top of the sheets, fully clothed, shoes on, hands folded neatly over his chest. His eyes were closed. He looked preserved, not asleep, not dead, just paused. There was a chair for me in the corner, a clock above the door. 9:58 p.m. The man in the suit nodded once and left, locking the door behind him. At exactly 10 o'clock, the clock began ticking. That's when I realized something was wrong. The man wasn't breathing. I leaned forward, watching his chest. Nothing. No rise. No fall. I stood up, stepping closer. I could see the fine details of his face. Pores, faint stubble, a scar near his left eyebrow. He looked normal. Too normal. I checked the rules again. Do not touch the subject. So I didn't. I sat back down and told myself it was some kind of medical trick. Controlled breathing, monitored vitals somewhere I couldn't see. Except there were no wires, no machines, no monitors. Just me and him. An hour passed. Then 2. The man never moved. not once. People shift in their sleep. They twitch. Their fingers curl. Their jaws tighten. He didn't do any of that. At 12:17 a.m., I realized I hadn't blinked in a while. Not because I couldn't, because I was afraid of what might happen if I did. Around 1:30 a.m., the room felt smaller. The walls hadn't moved. I know that. But the air felt thicker, heavier, like something unseen was pressing inward. I started noticing details I hadn't before. The man's shoes were spotless, no creases. His clothes had no wrinkles. His hair didn't move, even when the ventilation kicked on. He looked like a photograph, a very high-resolution photograph. At 2:04 a.m., the clock skipped a second. Just one. Then continued normally. I wrote it down anyway. My hand was shaking now. That's when the urge to leave hit me. It came out of nowhere, an overwhelming, full-body command telling me to get out. My skin crawled, my stomach twisted. Every instinct screamed that something terrible was about to happen. I remembered rule number 4. If you feel the urge to leave, ignore it. So I stayed. At 3:11 a.m., I noticed his eyes weren't fully closed anymore, just barely open. Not enough to see the whites, but enough to see darkness behind the lids. I froze. I checked the rules again. If the subject opens his eyes, mark the time. Do not react. So I marked the time and did my best not to react. That's when I heard breathing. Not from him, from behind me. Slow, measured, too close. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. The sound stopped the moment I noticed it. When I finally worked up the courage to look back at the man, his eyes were fully closed again. I didn't sleep after that. By 4:30 a.m., the room smelled different. Not rot, not decay. Something sterile, chemical, like an operating room that had been scrubbed too many times. The man's lips had parted slightly. Still no breathing. Still no movement. I started wondering if I was the one being watched. At 5:12 a.m., the clock stopped ticking. Silence filled the room so completely my ears rang. That's when the man opened his eyes. All the way. They weren't human eyes. They were flat, black, reflective, like glass. And they were looking directly at me. I didn't scream. I didn't move. I marked the time. His mouth opened. He didn't speak. Instead, I felt words forming in my head. Not a voice, a pressure, a realization. He wasn't sleeping. He was waiting. At 6 a.m., the door unlocked. The man in the gray suit returned, glanced at the subject, then at my clipboard. "Did he move?" he asked. "No," I said. He smiled. "That means he's still contained." They paid me in cash. I didn't ask questions. I didn't think about the job again until a week later. That's when I woke up at 3:11 a.m., unable to move, unable to breathe, staring at my bedroom ceiling, waiting, and feeling something, somewhere, watching me, not moving, not yet.